Okay, let's look at number 6. My x values are not in consecutive order, so I can't do standard. I do not have both roots. I just have one root, so I can't use factored, but I do have the vertex. So we're going to do vertex form. So we're going to use this point. For vertex, we need an A, an H, and a K. We know that our H is 3 and our K is 0. So let's fill in what we have. We have x minus 3 quantity squared plus 0. Of course, you do not have to put the plus 0. Now we need to find a point. We need to get a point other than the one we've already used to plug in for x and f of x. I'm just going to take the y-intercept and replace f of x with 6, x with 0, and then simplify. So we have negative 3, but it's squared, so that's positive 9. And then solve for a. Let's leave our a value as a fraction, but let's simplify it. So my a value is 2 over 3. So now we have all the components. So let's write this out. F of x equals 2 over 3 for my a, and then x minus 3 quantity squared plus 0, but I'm not going to put that in. Now, let's transform that or convert it to standard form. So we are going to expand our exponent, and we're going to multiply the binomial by itself. That creates a perfect square trinomial. And now we're going to multiply each of these terms by 2/3. So I get 2/3 x squared, and then I have 2/3 times negative 6x. 3 can go on to negative 6x, negative 2x times, and then you multiply it by this too. So that gives me minus 4x, and then I have 2/3 times 9. 3 divides into 9, 3, and 3 times 2 is 6. So this is standard form. Okay, number 7, my x values are not consecutive. I cannot go straight to standard form. I have my 2 roots, and I have my vertex. So I think I'm just going to do factored form. So for factored form, we need an A, a P, and a Q. So my P is -1 and my Q is 3. So let's plug in what we have. So it's x minus -1 and x minus 3. Now let's choose a point, one that we've not used. So we've already used these two. So I'm just going to use 1, 6, the vertex, 6 for f of x, 1 for x. Now let's simplify. We have a times 1 plus 1 times 1 minus 3. That gives us -4 times a. And now we're going to simplify by dividing each side, or solving, divide each side by -4. My a value, please do not turn it into a decimal, gives me -3/2. So, I wonder if that does that. Okay. So, let's make a nicer line. So, I have f of x equals, so my a is -3/2. So, I have -3/2 times x plus 1 times x minus 3. Now we're going to convert that to standard form. So first I'm going to multiply my binomials. I get x squared minus 3x plus x minus 3. I'm going to combine like terms. And now I'm going to multiply by -3/2. Let me put my f of x here. Let me make that a little neater. I get negative 3/2 x squared. Now, I'm going to have negative 3/2 times negative 2 over x. So you can see that the 2 divides into the negative 2x one time. Okay, so then that's just going to be, then that actually is like canceling. So that just leaves me with plus 3x. Okay, so a negative times a negative is positive, and my 2's canceled, so that leaves me with 3x. Then I have negative 3/2 times negative 3. 2 does not divide into negative 3 nicely, so I'm just going to multiply straight across. You can look at that as there's a 1 in my denominator. That gives me a positive 9/2, and that is totally fine. So we're going to leave it just like that.